Hello, welcome back to another video. Today, we're going to be looking at what makes an open window so hard, top one impossible level. Now, I like impossible levels. I've made a couple impossible levels, so I'm going to see what makes this so hard and probably make a impossible level later on, or add to a impossible level that I'm working on. So without further ado, let's get into the video.
Open window isn't even a minute long, yet it sits at the top of the ILL. How is this? What makes
It's because of all the frame perfects and stuff in it, probably. Sorry if I move my mic.
Open window so hard? Hello there, my name is Crimson. I'm the creator of Open Window, and today I, as directed by those who know the level best, am going to be explaining exactly what makes the level tick. If you want a simple explanation for its position, the reason it's number one is that unlike TAX, where most of the difficulty is held in just a few parts, every single part of Open Window is extremely difficult.
Yes, open window is a very, I would say it's pretty balanced in terms of gameplay throughout.
Full of frame perfects and swifts everywhere. It's for
Yes, I did try to bot a couple times. There are lots of frame perfects and swift clicks everywhere. So I stopped.
this reason that, unlike the similar videos going over Psych, Tax, and Formosa, I'm going to be in the editor directly pointing at things of note, rather than commentating over a showcase.
I did see the other videos, and I like those a lot. So I'm kind of glad that he's doing it, especially since he's the creator. So he knows the level best.
So without further ado, let's begin.
Is that Miku? Is that Miku Mouse? Whatever.
We begin in the intro.
Alright, this is really hard. So yeah, here I'm just gonna say what happens because I know the first bit. So you have to do a swift click, and then do a frame perfect, then click that dash orb into another swift click, and then you're gonna have to hit the blue orb, and then the purple, the dash orb. Going to hit the black orb. Then you're going to have to another swift click.
I'm going to spend a little bit of time going over this first structure.
Yes, this first structure is actually very annoying. I had to place a block here, because there's no block here in the, there's no hitbox here.
First, I need to explain the concept of a swift click. That is a
Okay, well, I know what a swift click is.
Press and release in a single frame. So for open window, that means you have to both press the button and release the button in less than a 6,000th of a second. Yikes. However, the term swift click is kind of a misnomer. It functions more as a zero frame hold, as it is the release that's special, not the click itself. And branching off of this is the idea of stacked orbs. With multi-activate, an orb will be able to activate multiple times, obviously. However, it can only be activated once per frame, meaning that by clicking multiple times in a frame, you can effectively click through a multi-activate orb.
I think Silent Club Sub does that, or you just have to time that. I'm not. Actually, no, Silent Club Sub is not multi-activated, since they didn't have that. I'm not sure.
The case with the blue-yellow, because if the blue orb were to be multi-activate, you could press that and then on the same frame press the yellow orb, making it function effectively as a green orb, but you have to do 2 clicks on the.
Wait, that worked as a green orb? Oh, okay. Because if you don't know, in Nullscapes, there's lots of swift clicks. Not swift, I mean double clicks.
Same frame. Also, not all orb stacks are made equally. On the left, we have what is called a blocking double click, where on the right it is a non-blocking. This is because, for the one on the left, you have to both press the dash orb and then release it before clicking again, whereas for the setup on the right, you can just click 2 times without needing to release in between. This reaches its logical conclusion with something called a triple click, which is 3 clicks in a frame, which is the most that the ILL allows. And if a list is to not have a rule against this, usually becomes the meta. So to do the first jump in the level, you need to click not once, not twice, but thrice in a single frame with releases in between, just to get through both of the dash orbs.
And also, these 2 spikes here will make this a frame perfect, so yeah, no, this first one's really hard.
And not only that, if I turn on hitboxes and zoom in...
Yeah, see, this is what I was saying.
Ever so closely...
Oh, hell nah, I thought that... Oh, shoot, wait, that means I did not know that there are like little spikes there.
This spike is multiple spikes. This is something that I briefly covered in the Buffing Cord Massacre.
You know, I did not watch the entire thing of that buffing open window, but I have seen it a bit, and I saw him. I forget what it's called. Macro buffing, open window, a little bit.
Video, and it's a tactic to just ensure that each frame perfect is frame perfect-er. Speaking of frame perfects, there is no lacking of them in this first part. Already starting out, we have the triple.
Yeah, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Which, depending on how you rule it,
all
is
these clicks are
3
frame
frame perfects or 5, depending on if you count the releases. And then we have this dash orb and the release.
The dash orb is annoying because if you pass the first one, that if you actually this is kind of useless in there because if actually no it's not, but if you pass the first one, you can you probably die to this one. This one's also useless, I guess, because these are the only ones that'll actually kill you. But once you get past those, this one's just telling you where to stop. You have to like put your frame hitbox there, then jump.
For the dash orb, making 2 more. Then there's another triple swift before getting into more lenient timings.
Alright, I'm going to see what happens here. So this pushes you up. You have to click that. So actually, that's that frame per. No, that's really open. So you have to hit the blue orb. Then you have to hit this. Go through here, which is tight. Frame perfect. Then go here.
Before arriving at the first toggle orb.
Oh, this is annoying. I don't know why it's so hard to click.
Which is another orb stack. They're gonna.
Oh yeah, you have to click 3 times. Actually, I didn't know that the first time, but I figured it out.
Be a lot of these. Then we have another triple dash orb where we get to the first rotated speed portal.
Oh yes. You know, I suspected that there was So if you don't know, you have a speed portal or a game changer portal. I don't know what it's called. A portal cube or something is rotated. If you hit it at the wrong angle, the level would just be impossible. It's in Haunted Corridor, I think.
Well, luckily this one isn't too difficult for now. Before we get into the spam, which,
you know, when I tried bought this, I could not do this click. Like I did 1, 2, and I could not do the
once
rest.
again, each spike is multiple spikes.
You see, I did not know he did that on every single spike. I know he was macro buffing the level, but I did not know how much he macro buffed it.
Then we get into the ball part.
Oh yeah, so actually I think I no clip that and started to do this. So you just have to click that. I'm not sure about this part actually.
Which exits into some more rotated speed
Okay, you're just going to ignore the ball part, alright.
portals. Now the thing about the ball is that it's constantly rotating. And the thing about rotated hitboxes is you hit them with your rotated hitbox.
Oh wait, so the ball has to be at like a specific rotation for the next.
So this ends up being a really nasty alignment. It can reportedly kill you.
Oh wait, you have to align your hitbox? Wait, so like this isn't that hard? Oh shoot, wait, that's hard.
As far
I would not bought that.
Forward as the third click of the swing copter. Then after that, some more tight timings, nothing too notable there. There's a breakable block teleport, which is pretty cool, into another.
Yeah, that is actually it's kind of not annoying. Yeah, it is annoying, but it's not too bad.
Triple click and another alignment that isn't that notable into another triple click. Now then, we arrive at.
That's a triple click? No, don't you just have to click through like super late?
At the Swift Copter. This.
Ooh, yes, this. So this isn't just a multi-activated dash orb. There's like a bunch of orbs here that you can run out of, so you cannot just like spam through this.
Part doesn't have much to talk about as it's fairly homogeneous most of the way through. This stack of orbs is not multi-activate. It is.
Yeah.
is only 25
25. That is a low number. I thought it was way more.
orbs, which means that you can't cheese any of the swift clicks by just spamming through them. But on to all of these
That is hard. Wait, do these saws not have a... No, they have a hit... Wait, what? Wait, yeah, do these saws not have a hitbox? Wait, what?
negative scaled saws, as provided by Ice Spirit.
Oh, wait, no, they do have a hitbox. They're just, like, super small.
The ice saws are what make this part actually difficult. Especially notable is this small 5-click spam, because you have to get through it with a frame-perfect swing right here, and then you leave with another frame-perfect with 5 inputs that you just kind of have to figure out how to align with the velocity. And then there's this guy, because I was originally going to have each of these blocks be the hazards that you had to dodge, but then that idea fell through, and this bat at 3.75 times scale is a perfect block. Then there's this rotated teleportal.
Or you could just use the actual block item, the object, the block that can kill you.
And then the funny dash orb afterwards. Fun fact, there's a bug in every single bot for 2.1, except for MHR and Echo, that delays rotation in practice mode by a single frame. And this slight difference in rotation is enough to hit the teleportal in such a way that this part becomes impossible.
Wait, so you have to... Wait, do you have to do this in practice mode, or wait?
That was until a slightly alternate way of doing the part was found, involving actually using one of these dash orbs to move down a bit. However, TASBot has yet to complete the level entirely. Who knows, maybe you could do it. It's for that reason that the phrase TASBot died here is on the spike and is also crossed out. And now then here we see the first random dual split that was not present in the layout. I added quite a lot of these because I think they're really fun to see. This one sees, again, 2 wave double clicks. Then we get a couple more timings, which, need I say it every single time, each of these spikes is quite a couple of spikes. Then while transitioning into the wave part, we have another rotated speed portal, because at this point, why not? And then this blue orb. This is as good a time as any to talk about the differences in the corners that waves can have. First there's the normal corner, which is just either a press or a release to change which direction you're going. Then there's the blue orb, which allows you to hold as soon as you intersect the hitbox, and then you can release whenever the timing window is available. Then there's the pink dash orb, which largely power creeps the blue orb, as you can hold it for less time. But the thing about this blue orb is that it's so small you can only intersect it for 1 frame before the timing becomes impossible.
Wait, but couldn't you just, like, go down as a, upside down wave? Oh, no, there's a toggle orb there. Oh, yeah, that's hard.
And as such, it doesn't matter that it's technically not the optimal orb to put here, as you're going to be dead if you don't swift either way. Next up, we have the wave, which is the easiest part to bot because...
Easiest? No. This is... Wait, no, is it like low hardest or something?
Next up, we have the wave, which is the easiest part to bot because it is...
I think it's a not bot.
Incredibly straightforward.
These timings are so annoying.
Just being these silent circles-esque timings. However, equating them to silent circles isn't entirely accurate, as silent circles features 1 small space between the spikes. Open window has 1 mini space, so it's a...
Why would you do that? Like, silence, you know... Actually, it's hardest level, so...
slight bit tighter. And in addition, the fixed hitboxes in the corners make...
Wait, so... Oh, I guess that's why silent circles is... I could bot him, or silent circles version is more bottable than this.
Pretty much everything frame perfect in this. Are you beginning to see the trend? There are also these little toggle orbs that appear. They don't do much. It's either a swift or an unswift, that being a swift release and then a click. If you were to press on these toggle orbs, then you just die instantly, and these blue orbs don't do anything. And then the second half of this wave.
Alright. I'm gonna guess all these clips are frame perfects.
Which is way more complicated and has a lot more to talk about. First is going to be a good time to mention the primary difference between open window waves and pretty much every other wave you're going to see on...
My commentary is not that good. I've not really said that much through this.
on the list.
I don't know if
The main difference being, most minus waves just have a hard gap copy and pasted everywhere, so when you hit a portal, you have to immediately toggle your input as fast as possible. Whereas open window, where each gap is individually as tight as it can be. So it isn't that you have to release as soon as possible in the setup, it's that you still have to be holding for X amount of frames. That is something that is consistent throughout the entire wave part. If that wasn't enough, there are a bunch of these dash orbs. Some of them are triple clicks, some of them are just double clicks, and some of these wonderful pink dash orbs you have to swift, and some of them you have to hold for a single frame or two. This is also one of the main parts to have.
It's kind of evil unless you're actually botting this, because if you're botting it, you would know which ones you would hold and not hold. Because like your regular wave, this is a regular dash orb, so you would hold for that, then you would swift clicks there, then you would hold, and for the other thing, you're upside down, so you would actually it was blue, yeah.
Been reworked when the ILL started allowing 16 clicks per second in levels. The blue part is probably the easiest in the entire level, and there's not much to go over.
The easiest. This is how to bot. Like I think I've tried to. Maybe I think. I probably could bot it if I wanted to.
Except for this collection of negative scaled objects.
Alright, so.
This wave part, which is reportedly pretty difficult to align just because there's not much to work with, and the robot release into this half-speed portal, which is necessary to make this wave part doable. Chord Massacre is the fourth major part in open window, and for a level on 6000 FPS, it sure has a lot of frame perfects. In fact, that's much of what this part is, just a bunch of really, really tight timings, so there's not much to go over. There's of course the fair share of rotated speed portals. It was said that this strain in particular was pretty hard to bot because there's just so many different ways to hit this red pad so that you end up launching through these spikes, which is really tight. And then the part ends with not just one, but two rotated speed portals, which, for what's coming up next, is not something you want to have happening. And this part acts as kind of a microcosm for Open Window's difficulty as a whole.
Oh shoot, so the ship, you're going to have like hit all the speed portals correctly to do frame alignment. Yeah, my guess is frame alignment.
Where it's just
all the portals are like he's been talking about them a lot, so they're probably all gonna you have to hit them right to get the right frame to do the ship.
A bunch of really, really tight timings coming at you really fast. Next is the drop, but before I talk about this...
Alright, so I'm just gonna tell you why there's all these orbs here. He's probably going to do it, but I'm just gonna say, so if you hit these orbs, you will die. So you have to, and you can click in a frame. You have to click like a specific frame. Like for here, you have to click, release, click, and you have to hit this right. Then click here somewhere.
I need to talk about the transition into the drop.
The transition is really easy. Actually, now that I'm looking at it, it's really easy. You just have to click, 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 and then you're in the drop, which is really hard.
After you hit the dual portal, and before the top...
Oh wait, no, this is probably going to align you somehow. So that's why it's so easy.
Player enters this spam, you slide along the top of the ceiling as it moves up. This sliding is affected by both the X pose and the Y pose, and ties the alignment of this first...
Yeah, I'm not biting this. I'm probably just going to do a tax evasion.
First part of the spam to not only these three blue orbs with nothing to go off of, and not only these two speed portals, but pretty much the entire level beforehand. And it can reportedly kill you as far forward as the wave part. Looking back at my notes, Fipan was 0.008 units off and died. For context, one of these grid blocks is 30 units. But for the gameplay of the drop itself is pretty much what you'd expect. super tight ship gap with a bunch of orbs in them that you can't
Yeah, so basically like that, what's that level called? I forget. It's, this one.
click on, and super precise wave spam. There are a bunch of toggle triggers, and you click some of them and you don't click some of them.
You know, it's actually really easy to bot through this if you have to click and not click. Unless it crashes your game, then, yeah, like if some of these crash your games, some of them don't, that's, bad.
Then there is the aforementioned really tight wave, which
It's not that tight. It's just like every other wave in this level.
is a really tight wave. But there are also a bunch of D blocks here because I didn't want it to go over CPS for the upcoming spam. But then they raised the CPS limit.
Oh.
And also this wasn't close to the CPS limit.
But yeah, it doesn't really look that high of CPS.
And then we have the funny
Wait, so open window could get a buff? Maybe?
spam part, which was made precisely with an auto clicker set to 15 CPS, and then they raised the CPS limit.
Oh, so they raised it like after open window got? Yeah, because I thought it was like 15 CPS. Then I checked, it was 16, and I was confused. But so they changed it like after open window got placed?
There was a bit of a funny scenario when I was building this when this portal kept misaligning randomly, and it turned out it was because of smooth ease. All my homies hate smooth ease. And after that, we return to fairly normal gameplay. There's a bunch of really tight timings, there's a dual split, there's another rotated speed portal, and the second half of the drop is pretty much just normal gameplay. And then the finale of the sunset part is more of the same. Wave with a bunch of stacked orbs, orb timings with funky alignments, swift copter. This black orb UFO thing looks scary because it is a trip, but it is only one click. And then there's just more really tight timings. There's a cameo for one of these Formosa orbs, making this wave part pretty difficult.
Oh, he copied that from Formosa? To be fair, I do not like Formosa. How it's not. Whatever. I do not like that level from Formosa. I'm just gonna say that. Because I was botting it and I got a 50, and I did not know how to do that. The robot swift click. It's really hard to do a robot swift click. So I was struggling on that, and I accidentally exited at 50%. I probably would have figured it out eventually. Probably.
And while I'm here, I might as well talk about this dash orb, which I considered flipping, but because that affects the rotation of the robot, it ended up making this portal not align. That's how tight this level is. You can't rotate the dash orbs differently. Then to close the level out, we have a spider duel, which is more confusing than it is difficult. We have this.
Wait, where's the... Yeah, it's confusing.
Which was made to...
Wait, actually, I think you have to get the spider to go through there, and the other spider you have to, like, click that so it goes over something? I don't know.
Poke fun at that one part in the tax evasion explained video, and then this rush to the end part. And that is Open Window, the result of the two-step process of maximizing the amount of clicks and then making each of those clicks as precise as they can be. I'm going to reiterate here that what I've highlighted is not the entirety of the level's difficulty. Every part of the level is really hard. Also going to clarify this, there was never an unbuffed version of Open Window, as I was buffing it while I was decorating it, so there was only ever an unfinished version. And also this is by no means the limit of difficulty on the ILL. And that's important to know because, speaking more as myself, Open Window probably shouldn't be number one. Don't get me wrong, it's harder than everything else on the list, but there are so many things that aren't on the list. Midnight and Nematode are the first two that come to mind, but there were so many other projects started in 2023 that ended up never being finished. And it's kind of strange to be on the other side of the race to defeat Psych with Open Window. In my opinion, Open Window works infinitely better as a top 5 than a top 1, and that is going to fix itself inevitably as people make more levels, but there will eternally be a stain on its legacy with the former top 1 tag. So with all that said, thank you for watching. I hope you understand OpenWindow a little bit better now. And also, sorry this took several months to make, I have been very busy. So like and subscribe, and farewell for now.
Yeah, this video was good. Yeah, definitely subscribe to him. Yeah, so I'm never gonna be botting this. Mainly because of all the frame alignment stuff. I do not like frame alignment is bad. Or not bad, it's annoying to bot. I know that Cyclosis has it. Like it has this one portal at the beginning that when you get to the end, like the very last ball part, then it will not work. Yeah, so that was cool. OpenWindow difficulty by Crimson. Yeah. So yeah, you should definitely go subscribe to Crimson. Link to his YouTube channel will be in the description. Hopefully. Yeah. Goodbye.